Hello, book lovers. It's Charles Moffat, and it is book review time again. And I have here The Tower of Swallows by Andrzej Sapkowski. So yes, which is the, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th book in the Witcher series. All right, so back over there. All right, keep the bugs out of my drink. So it is autumn here currently. Yep. And the leaves are coming down and all that. And oddly enough, it is also autumn in this book. And there's a squirrel over there making a racket. Okay, anyway, whatever. So yeah, it's autumn in the book. Halloween is almost upon us. And in this book, the Witcher world equivalent of Halloween, which I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce, because I remember looking it up. It's a Celtic word, which is the Celtic predecessor to Halloween, and it's spelled Samhain, but that's not how it's pronounced. I'm a little confused about how it's actually pronounced. So, but that's how it's spelled. But it's basically the ancient version of Halloween before Christianity, arrived and came up. The All Hallows Eve version. Anyway, so yes, this book is a little weird because a lot of it comes down to the issue of dates and going back and forth in terms of the timeline. So there's multiple character perspectives, a number of dates that are sort of like mismatched in terms of like things are happening over here and then other things are happening over here, but they don't appear in like this order in terms of the dates. It happens more like this. Okay, so you get to see certain characters doing their stuff and then another character doing their stuff over here, and then there's a third character doing their stuff. So it kind of feels like flashbacks in a way, because it just kind of goes back and forth in the timeline with the different characters, and then it will actually reference what date it is in terms of like, is it the equinox? Is it after the equinox? Was it, it's 4 days now after the equinox, and all these different things that are going on. And then eventually Halloween, and then it's November, and all this other stuff that happens in November. So, but it kind of reminds me, honestly, of that first season of the Witcher series on Netflix. That had some going back and forth in terms of the timeline as well. And with respect to this, it's a situation where they do it a lot. Like, even in a single chapter, you might have 3 different perspectives of different characters going back and forth into time. Like there's this one character who's like set in the future, talking about like what they did during the events of the book, and it's like after everything else has already been settled, but they're like talking about it in past tense. So it's just, there's things like that feel kind of weird, but it's at the same time it's unusual. Okay, now plot wise, we've got the Witcher who's looking for Ciri, and Ciri who's like basically has found a safe haven, but she's talking about a lot of the events that happen around the equinox and so forth in past tense. It's already happened to her, whereas like Geralt and other characters are still trying to like find her. And then there's Yennefer, who is off doing her own separate thing, and that's one of the reasons why the timeline's all like muddled up in there in terms of the dates. And then they start to like, near the end, they start to get closer to like lining up. But it is a situation where I wonder where I'm, going into the next book, is it going to continue to be muddled like this, or is it all going to start to mesh better? So it is an unusual book in terms of how it deals with the timeline issues. Like in theory, someone could have gone, you know, and just like said, yeah, like, no, we're not going to do all this like mixed up silliness here. We're going to put everything in chronological order, the way it's meant to be, in theory, and then have it all in that order. But then it would just, honestly, I think that would even be even more confusing. I think the way that it is presented, where it's focusing more on the characters individually, and then splices them together over time, that actually makes a bit more sense in this case. Because if they were all like done chronologically, then, you know, like the first chunk of the book would just be like Yennefer, and you wouldn't get all this the side perspectives from the different characters and other things like that. So yeah, I'm not going to talk about the plot too much, but I will say I still enjoyed it, and it just kind of felt like it was very experimental in a way in terms of how it dealt with that timeline. Yeah. And then as far as the books go, let's see, I've read, you know, book 1, book 2, 3, 4, 5. This is effectively book 6. So yeah, because like this one down here, it's listed in this order, but this one actually happens in terms of chronologically, it happens way up here. So yeah, so the next one would be The Lady in the Lake, and then there's the Season of Storms, which would be the last one. So I'm getting closer to the end here. I've only got 2 more books to go. Now, unfortunately, I also have to go buy those 2 books. So maybe I'll ask for them for Christmas or something. We'll see what happens. My wife likes to get me books occasionally for Christmas, or sometimes my mother-in-law. So that could happen too. And before I forget, today's book review is brought to you by Peasant Magazine, which is, yes, a magazine you can actually read and stuff. It's got stories in it. It has a number of stories by, oh look, there's me, and then Alistair Grant, Carl F. Northwood, Sean Mooney, Len Barry, C.M. Neary, Brigham Magnuson, Jeffrey J. Hoy, D.G. Ironside, Liam Porter, Frankie G., and Denise Longree. I hope I pronounced that right. Alright, yes, and there's a number of stories in there that people can read, and best of all, it's free. You can get the PDF version of this magazine for free from fiction.charlesmoffat.com/peasant magazine / and you'll find it there. Or you can go on Amazon and you can buy a copy of this for $4.99 US or $5.99 Canadian, or whatever number it happens to be in your local country, ending with a 99. Yeah. Yeah. So do check it out. This is the first issue of the magazine. I'm looking forward to issue number 2. This isn't an official sponsor. This is really just me tooting my own horn. Anyway, so yes, do check out Andrzej Sapkowski's books. I am definitely still enjoying them, so I'm looking forward to books. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Books 7 and 8. Yeah. So I have to get books 7 and 8. Yeah, and do go check out my books by visiting either fiction.charlesmoffat.com, or you can also visit amazon.com/author/Moffat, Moffat. Okay, have a good day. Bye-bye.